Broadcasting from the world-famous LWDL studios, this is Life with Dan and Lewis. I'm Dan.
And I'm Lewis.
And we're here to talk about life and all the wonderful, magical, horrible, awful, fantastic stuff inside that four-letter word.
Life.
Before we get too far in, if you hear anything you like today, feel free to go over to buymeacoffee.com/LWDL. Your support is greatly appreciated for this adventure we are on. Hey, it's good to see you.
It's good to see you too.
How was your week?
It was pretty good.
I guess I should say, how are your weeks? We've taken a little bit of time off here for a variety of reasons.
Yes.
But we're back at it now, and we're back at it strong.
Back at it in full effect.
That's right. How are your weeks? How you been?
Been pretty good. Was on death's door. Well, not necessarily, but I've been trying to dodge COVID for 3 years. It finally arrived at my doorstep.
Got both of us.
Yeah.
And basically everyone around us.
Pretty much. It finally arrived, and I have been very curious because I am a type 1 diabetic, and I was like trying to avoid it at all costs because I didn't know how that would affect somebody with diabetes. But I can honestly say, after going through it, I was like, it really wasn't that bad.
You didn't really have any extra symptoms. Your sugars weren't all over the place or crazy or anything, which is sometimes you hear about when people with diabetes get sick with something kind of crazy like COVID, that it's really hard to control your sugars. But for you, not really a big deal. It's normal.
I made a joke with when I did Zoom into court for my job. I did make a joke with and also with my family and people who called me. I was like, I went to bed last night and I saw Jesus, but he wasn't ready for me. He told me to go back.
Oh my God. A bit dramatic much.
Right. But I mean, it wasn't as bad. Like, honestly, if I can compare to anything that has happened to me, it felt like the flu.
I agree. The worst couple of days there were like the flu. The one thing that's different, and we're not going to turn this into the COVID podcast here, but the one thing that was different is the longevity of like the fatigue symptoms and some like the brain fog and stuff. Like, I still don't quite feel over it, and we're 20 days out now.
I can agree with the fatigue because before I used to be back and forth in between my office and the court, and I used to just be running back and forth, and I get tired. Lately, I've been walking.
Right.
And it's just like, I can run, but it's just like, in my head, I'm just like, I'm going to wear myself out.
Right.
So it's just like getting over that fatigue, getting back to like the normal active self. And but other than that,
I do think some of it is a little bit mental. Like, we just gotten used to like moving slower and like conserving our energy. Like, and if we push ourselves, we can do more than we realize.
Yeah. But
I do think that there is some effects just, even, a few weeks out that, normal flu doesn't have. And I think the COVID brain is definitely a real thing. Hunting for words takes longer and very easy to forget stuff. Like, if I have a timer set for something and I turn the timer off and I don't go take care of it right away, like say a sprinkler, the sprinkler might run for a couple hours. I'm not going to remember about it. So lots of post-it notes, lots of timers, lots of reminders on the phone, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and multiple people that I talked to, the common thing is the COVID brain fatigue and stuff like that. So, just...
Each day is getting better, though. So, hopefully a couple more weeks here and we'll feel back to normal.
Yeah, I have to honestly say, like, given what people say in the news about it or whatever, like, when you actually experience COVID, it's not as... I'll say, I hope nobody gets it. But if you do get it, you just have to experience it for yourself. Because
keeping in mind that we're both vaccinated and boosted.
Yeah. And so, like, and you'll think about it like, oh, people in the news, like this and that, I'm gonna be hospitalized, and but nobody in my house was hospitalized. We just the fatigue was there for sure.
Yeah.
A little bit of chills. That lasted probably about like 1 or 2 days, and there's a little bit of lasting effects, but nothing serious.
Yeah. The cough is something that I've heard and I've been told that it could be weeks, even months maybe, that will have this sort of lingering cough. My voice doesn't sound right, and I can tell in the headphones that I don't sound right, but I don't feel bad. That's the thing. I sound bad. I might have a little bit of cough. I get a little bit tired, but I'm back to playing golf.
Yeah.
I have to really like kind of force myself to. It doesn't quite sound like fun.
Yeah.
But the parts of it that I like, the being out there in nature and like having like a good time, allow me to get past the fatigue.
Today I finally started going up the stairs instead of taking the elevator. And
Do you go to the gym at all?
No, I haven't started back at the gym. But I have taken the stairs. I just took the stairs today, and of course I get to the top of the stairs and I'm winded. But everything's a start.
I moved. I got a new arcade machine. And I moved that around my house by myself, and I was huffing and puffing. I didn't even think about it, but I bet that was good. Just good for the lungs to get them moving again like that.
Yeah, and just exerting that energy on your body, because then then your body.
I think it did really feel good. Yeah.
Yeah, it starts to pick up and like, hey, like I need more energy.
Yeah.
And so they start producing more energy and stuff. So, like we're both on the right track. We're both trying to re-engage our bodies into more activities and doing that. And like, I'm just like, it'll pass.
Yeah. Agreed.
So
yeah, pretty much the same thing going on here. I just dropped the spilled the beans right there. I did get a new arcade machine last week or so, and been playing with that, and I'm having a lot of fun with that, and already ordered some new things to mod it up, and right now it plays about 300 games, and in a couple of days here it'll play 8,000. So I'm pretty excited about that. It's an At Games Legends Ultimate upright cabinet. So it's not an arcade one. It's a little bit fancier than that. And the biggest thing with At Games is they allow coin ops. And coin ops is this platform that just greatly opens up the gaming library. So not getting too geeky there, but we're about to get a ton of games on that thing, and I'm already loving it. So very excited for that.
It looks pretty cool. We played I guess it was a demo. But I mean, I'm interested.
Yeah, I've been playing more in there. I was playing Tetris tonight. Tetris Plus 2 or 2 Plus, the 1997 version, and it's like a puzzle mode where you have to like work through different levels and stuff. It sounded a lot of fun. And the one thing I like about this machine is that they have save slots, so I can stop, pause a game, and save it.
Wow!
And then I can come back to it later.
That's nice.
So it's kind of fun. There's a lot of things I like about this system. The buttons and the controller are nice. I am going to start looking to see if I can upgrade them. They're just standard right now, just plastic buttons. Mm-hmm. But I'd like to get them to be LED so it lights up.
Nice.
And I know they make those. I think it's just a matter of changing them out. But this is a nice little base to build my own custom arcade machine off of, and I'm pretty excited to do that.
That sounds pretty cool. It looks pretty interesting. I'm eager to see once you get everything going and everything from there. So,
what's in your cup this week?
I am drinking something you made.
Yeah, we're doing. We're taking it easy, getting back into having a drink while we're recording here, and we're having a little bit of Topo and lime and Kettle One vodka. So a vodka soda lime.
Straight gasoline.
Not quite. Yeah, but it's doing the trick. Both of us have this thing going on where nothing kind of sounds good, and we were unsure what we wanted.
I agree. I even have that with food.
Same.
Like you think you want to eat this, and then you look at it, you smell it, and you're just like, oh, yeah. Disgusting.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
But this sounded good. It didn't taste good to me at first, but a couple sips in, it started to do the trick and taste good again. So
yeah,
hopefully that's just part of the getting well thing, and that'll go away.
And when we say getting well and stuff like that, it's not a bad thing. It's not like we're dying or we came back to life.
No, these are really they're inconvenient symptoms. They're not
definitely
not really affecting life.
Yeah. So even though we the way we say it, don't think of it as something that's like, if you get COVID, you can be perfectly fine.
You're going to be inconvenienced. That's most of the issue.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
Yeah.
And then, if you do get it, we hope you don't, but if you do, send us an email. Let us know how, the symptoms you got, how you recovered, and, if there's any lasting effects, and
Yeah.
just, let us know. And one of these days we'll read some of your emails and,
Sure.
Tell other listeners about it.
So one thing, I've had a lot of time recently to think about things. I'm sure we both have. And one of the topics that I wrote down to talk about is perhaps, is there a downside to the increased mental health awareness and acceptance that we're going through right now? And I was just sort of thinking about it, and I was wondering, does the degree that we are so open and accepting of mental health issues, for everything from, everything. I'm not going to name all the mental health disorders out there, but, anything across the board, from, serious conditions that require medications down to sort of everyday anxiety and depression, which seems to be so everyday nowadays.
Yeah.
But our acceptance of that, while great in a lot of ways, are we perhaps allowing people to develop a lack of willpower or mental toughness? It goes along, there's this sort of, boomer trend that, millennials and the generations that follow after are sort of, not as tough.
Yeah.
And maybe it's true. Maybe we're not as tough. And should we be? Like, is there are we missing something here?
If you think about it, I'll say back in the day, when I reference back in the day, it's like, growing up as kids, we never did hear about mental health issues.
No.
And I think that, because, back in the day when we were kids and previous generations, you were taught, oh, just get over it, or or you're fine. Just like, you find a way to deal with it and you just move on.
So it's like, oh, that's good. I'm glad you're okay now. Yeah, that's the way we handled it.
Yeah, and I think now is, first off, like, mental health is not a bad thing. If you suffer from some mental health issue, then that's fine. And if you need to get it treated, then get it treated. But at the same time, if somebody is not chronically depressed, but just like depressed
situationally or intermediate or situationally or sort of seasonal, not seasonally,
based off your situational.
Situationally, not sort of like a long-term thing, but you sort of sometimes feel depressed.
Yeah, whether it's, because maybe somebody lost a job, or you lost a loved one, or you lost something like that. Seasonal depression is, I feel like that type of depression where it's onset by something traumatic that has happened in your life. Like, we're all going to lose loved ones, and so some people get depressed about that, but it's something that you can easily accept and to move on from, rather than if it's clinical depression or like
because I'm with you on that. I guess more what I'm thinking is like the like using mental illness as an excuse to not do something, and you can't see my air quotes here, normal.
Yeah.
And I think we've gone too far.
I can't hold a job because I have bipolar. I can't hold a job because I'm schizophrenic.
Bipolar and schizophrenic might be reasons you legitimately can't, but perhaps I have social anxiety. Maybe we've gone a little too far.
Well, I would say that you can. Well, to back up a little bit.
Sure.
I work for a judge, Judge Yolanda Huff, County Court 12, Bexar County. She is the presiding judge over County Court 12, which is a criminal misdemeanor bench, but she also presides over the misdemeanor mental health court, which we have a lot of defendants. Well, every defendant on that docket has some type of mental health issue. So when it comes to which ones did you just say? Like
bipolar
or schizophrenia, like, these defendants perform and functional very well. And the number one issue why they're in the criminal justice system is at some point in time they get off their meds.
You're right, yeah.
Or they didn't one guy, he skipped several counseling appointments, and going to counseling was
So
his way.
slipping on their personal health care
Yeah,
caused them to have an event that led to a criminal charge.
exactly. And most of these charges are like,
They're what we typically call stupid crime.
exactly, criminal trespass, stupid. Like it's a victimless crime.
Yeah. Intox public.
Yeah.
Um,
The police ask you to stop and you walk away from them evading,
right.
or fail to ID when officer asks
Or
you for
even like the fighting and the simple battery stuff.
Yeah.
Like where they get into a fight for no reason.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I look at them and, I see their issue and I'm just like, yeah, it's unfortunate that, something like this, but, I look at the situation and majority, if not all, of these people can perform well in society, but they just need a little help, whether it's med compliant or talking to sometimes a psychotherapist or a therapist or something to get their brain to understand what's going
Right.
on, and when they feel some type of way to be able to come back down
They need help developing a toolkit to allow them to cope with everyday life.
yeah.
With their illness.
And like you're previously saying, I don't think that if somebody has anxiety or social anxiety, like prevent them from, oh, I can't work because I have
Right.
anxiety, or I can't do this because of that. Like, no, you can.
And I think we've gone too far in allowing people to say I can't because of my mental health.
Yeah,
We're not making, this sounds bad to say it this way, but we're not making people face reality and learn to deal with the real world.
exactly.
And then other people would say, well, because the real world is changing. We're being so much more accepting to people's, neurodivergencies that's causing the real world to change. So what me and you are calling the real world is really us saying kids these days don't understand how it was when we were kids.
Yeah.
And there's probably some truth to that.
But at the same time, the world is changing, and they need to just adapt and change along with
Which
it.
way is the world changing? Is the world changing for them or against them?
Yeah.
It's not even a for or against. Are they affecting the world change, or is the world changing
Affecting them.
affecting them?
And I think that a lot of times they
It's
allow
probably both to an extent.
True, but I think that the world changing, they're allowing that to affect them more than them affecting the world change.
Yeah.
And when something is out of the norm, whether they need more time to process and to adapt, whether you and I can just adapt immediately, I think that sometimes they just get lax and be like, okay, well, I can't do this because
My mental illness
exactly. Whereas they just
or my
need
mental health. Yeah.
I feel that if they just gave the extra step to push through,
Right.
that they can get through
A
that barrier.
little bit of willpower, a little bit of mental toughness.
Yeah, and they can break through that barrier.
Right.
And so we're not trying to beat up on people who have
No.
mental illness. What we're basically we're trying to say is, can we break through that barrier with just a little bit of more, put a little bit more.
Yeah, all we're doing here is we're talking about, how far we've come and how great it is that we've come this far, but perhaps we've opened the gate too wide.
Exactly.
And we need to put a little bit of resistance in that pipeline
Yeah.
to develop a strong society.
Yeah. And so to back up, my judge, whenever she pleads somebody into the program and they come before her, she always tells them, this program is going to be intense. This program is going to be hard. It's not designed to be easy. It's designed to be tough, and it's designed to be hard. It's a 12-month program. Sometimes people can get extended for 2 or 3 or up to 6 months. But the program is designed to help people with mental illness to be able to adapt to change, move on from change, and understand that everyday life is going to go on. And so, like my judge tells them, like, this program is very intensive. But what I'm trying to get you to do is to develop the skills and understanding and the knowledge that you need to be able to become a productive person in society. And when your mental health illness pops up, how can I use the tools and everything that I have learned in order to not commit the same crime that I have? Like, okay, so if somebody is schizophrenic, okay, if I'm on my meds and then, a certain sound makes that person tick, or, somebody yelling makes that person tick. Okay, well, when that situation happens, let me use these tools that I have developed over the last 12 months and,
Right.
maybe I have to go meditate
Yeah.
for a little bit. Maybe I have to do something, but build that toughness within yourself to be able to say, hey, let me remove myself from this situation in order to regroup on my mental health.
Exactly.
And then move on from there.
And I think what my whole point with this whole thing is, so your judge is doing that as part of a program.
Yeah.
I think people need to do that as part of the program of life.
Yes. Like everyday
Just
life.
as it happens, you learn, you grow, you handle, you adjust, and you move forward.
Yeah.
You don't deflect and, divert with the excuse of my mental health or my mental illness.
Yeah. It's almost like, like we
It's
do all the time.
avoidance, yeah.
Yeah, like we do all the time. Like whenever a financial crisis happens.
Sure.
Okay, well, if I have 3 cars, let me downsize to 2. If I have a 5-story, 5,000 square foot house, and I'm struggling to pay for it. Well, let me downsize to a or whatever the case may be. Life is about whenever problem arises, addressing that issue, adapting, figure out how to move on, and then go from there.
That's right.
And so, like with mental health, we do understand that some people just need to be medically and clinically taken care of.
Yeah.
But the individual,
or just counseling.
yeah,
That can help too, but we can't mold society around avoidance based on I don't know how I want to phrase that.
So, like for instance, we have had multiple shootings in the United States within the last 5-10 years, and a lot of people say like, "Oh, well, they're mental illness." Like, let's move beyond blaming a mental illness for that when the person has the ability to. What's the last one? Not the Uvalde, but there was one that happened recently, and they're just like, "Oh, well, the person was depressed." Okay, they're depressed because I forget the issue. I think they're like lost their job or something like that. Okay, well, if you're depressed from that, you lost your job, you're trying to make ends meet and stuff. Okay, well, hey, there's plenty of jobs out there. Just regroup. Understand, okay, I lost this one job. I don't have that job anymore.
Yeah.
Bills are due in 30 days.
Refocus, adapt.
And then move on. Yep. Like, it's annoying to blame these mass shooters get away with like doing all this shooting and killing, and then we're just going to say, oh, well, they suffer from this, they suffer from that.
I don't think society's easy on mass shooters.
Yeah. They're not easy on them.
I don't know if I would agree with you going that far. But I get your point. Your point is that not everything is mental health. Some of it is just wrong.
Yeah.
And some of it is just life that you need to move on regardless of your mental health.
I think sometimes when it comes to like mass shooting, a lot of people want to play copycat. Like, okay, so maybe, if there's 10 mass shooters, maybe 3 of them do have like severe mental health issues. But then like the copycats that want to say, oh yeah, I suffer from this, and then let's just blame mental health for that. And, that gives me an excuse or that's acceptable to say this is the reason why I killed X amount of people. Like, no, it's not acceptable. And I find that
I agree with that.
In the media, this person has severe mental health issues and this and that. Does that give everybody who has severe mental health issues a pass to just pick up a rifle or a handgun and go do a mass killing?
No, I don't think that.
No,
I don't. I hadn't really thought about. I hadn't gone that far in my thinking about it, so I don't really have a lot of intelligent thought here.
Yeah,
that was a Lewis rant.
Yeah, it kind of was.
Without a Dan agreement. Other than mental health serious issue, but perhaps we've gone too far.
Yeah.
And not too far in mass shooters, but too far in everyday life.
Yeah, so to bring
it back
to bring it back to just regular quote unquote mental health issues, I will agree with you as if we're just a little bit more tough, then the I guess the quote unquote my mental health issues is preventing me from doing X, Y, and Z.
Where X, Y, and Z are sort of, quote, normal everyday life things.
Yeah, working, cleaning up a house,
Shopping, behaving as a normal human in public.
like even taking baths or doing daily hygiene stuff. Some people, oh, I can't do that because like my mental health is so it's when it comes to it, I think that people use that as a scapegoat.
Agreed. That's scapegoat. That's the word I was going for. Yep.
And instead of just like understanding, adapting with life,
right,
and pushing through it and moving on, they divert and rely and go back and lean on that crutch.
Right.
That's basically what it is.
Yeah.
They lean on that crutch.
Yep.
Now, for the people who suffer from mental health issues, and they're able to adapt and to, analyze the situation and, slowly or progressively move on from the situation, is what we're trying to get people to understand and to do.
Agreed.
And, when I look at my judge, when she has the mental health court program and they're trying to equip these individuals who happen to be in a judicial system with misdemeanor cases, and they're trying to equip them with the tools and things that they need in order to become productive members of society, and to, like, when these triggers arise, like, okay, I understand this is my current situation. Mm-hmm. Let me use these tools that I have gained in order to push through this and to move on. Let me not divert back to, criminally trespass or stealing or whatever the case may be.
Yep.
And then just move on from there.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so, it's definitely important. And I think that being tougher on the issue will allow people to like understand and awaken it in them that like, hey, like this is just a part of my life.
Right.
It's just something that just happened. It's just like, my judge always says it's just like mental health is just, it's just like me having diabetes. It's an issue. I address it and then I just move on. Mm-hmm. Like when I was diagnosed as a diabetic, it's just like, do I just give up and just say like, I'm just going to stay in the hospital until I die? No, I figure out what I need to do. I adapt, and then I just move on. Are there going to be some days I have low blood sugar? Yes. Are there going to be some days that I have high blood sugar? Yes. Are there going to be some days where diabetes have affected my life? Yes. But it doesn't mean that I give up. It doesn't mean that I digress. It doesn't mean that I just throw in a towel and be like, oh, well, my life is over, or, I do something. No, I use the tools and stuff that I have in order to correct the situation, and then allow myself to heal in that situation, where whatever it may be, whether bringing my blood sugar down or bringing my blood sugar back up or making it normal, and then just moving on from there, which is the same thing with mental health. You address the situation. I may be out of whack because of A, B, C, D.
Sure.
But I can do X, Y, Z in order to get back on track, and then my life will be quote unquote normal, whatever a normal life is.
Yeah. Yeah. So to put a cap on this, I think the title should have been Mental Health, Awareness or Scapegoat.
I can agree with that.
And if anyone has any thoughts on that, go ahead and shoot us an email at lifewithdanandlewis@gmail.com. I have a feeling we're going to circle back to this topic frequently.
I think so. I mean, it's an interesting topic, and with my work, I live it every day. Mm-hmm. And I've been sitting in a courtroom where my judge is talking to a defendant, and, they have the, oh, woe is me. Like, oh, life happens to me, and I'm, nobody cares about me, and life, it's just beating me up, and, like, it's not going to get better. I don't see any, like, and then you have other participants that are like, you know what? I see my issue, and I'm going to do I'm going to go through this program because it's going to make me better, and it's going to, you know, so we have, out of our program, we have a 89% success rate. Every defendant that has entered into this program, 88 to 89% of them successfully complete the program. And out of the ones that complete the program, it's almost 90% of them do not reoffend again, which keeps them out of the judicial system because it affords them the tools that they need to understand life situations and to be able to adapt and move on from there, which is what we're trying to do.
Exactly.
You know, is what we're trying to get people to understand. Like, you know, let's not go easy on this. Let's be tough on it, because if we're tough on it and we, you know, say, hey, like, you know, yeah, life sometimes can be shitty.
Sure.
But here are the tools and the things that you need in order to, you know, move on. Let's not put a Band-Aid over it and baby people. Let's be a little bit tough and stern on them. Like, hey, get yourself up. Like, life goes on. This is just a small part of your life. This is not your whole life.
We have a couple of friends we'd like you to check out. The first one is Remoting Blog. Remote working, remoting. Follow along on a journey of a new job, new facility, new coworkers, and a new normal. Remote working, remoting. Inspired by real life, enhanced by imagination. Follow along at remotingblog.com.
Remoting Blog.
Another friend of ours is GFDF Eating. Eating gluten and dairy-free can be challenging. GFDF Eating aims to show all the delicious food you can make and buy without sacrificing taste, diversity, or quality. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram at GFDF Eating.
That's at GFDF Eating.
We'd like to hear from you. After all, we are doing this for your entertainment. Drop us a note and let us know where you're listening from. Or if you have any ideas for new segments, things you'd like us to stop doing and do more of, less of, or anything at all, email us at lifewithdanalewis@gmail.com.
That's at lifewithdanalewis@gmail.com.
Here are some boundaries my husband and I have in our marriage as a married couple still in college. Rule number 1 is we're not allowed to sit beside the opposite sex in any of our classes. Rule number 2 is on discussion boards, you are only allowed to reply to the same sex. Last night, Tucker saw this really good discussion board by a girl named Riley, and I was just like, I don't really feel comfortable with that. So yeah, he didn't respond to her. Rule number 3, this one's kind of hard to stick to, but we try our very best to only have professors of the same gender as us. I do have one male psychology professor, but Tucker usually sits in that class with me. Finally, at the beginning of every semester or during the introductions, we both are sure to mention that we're married just so that no one, tries to cross any boundaries. Here are some boundaries my husband and I.
All right, so that's a TikTok user, Jojo Sorrel, on some boundaries her and her husband have as married college students. So right up front, we're going to discuss this as if she's talking truth. There is a chance that she did this just to be as farce. Not really as truth, but just to get a rise out of people, which she certainly did, us included.
Oh, definitely.
But we're going to go at this as if she's real. So let's talk about this. Couple boundaries.
Well, I want to just say right off the bat, and I'm going to be very aggressive about this. It's a bunch of bullshit.
I agree.
I'm sorry. Like, nobody...
This almost dovetails nicely into our mental health discussion about dealing with life This isn't even mental health. This is just being married. You still got to deal with life.
No, nobody freaking cares if you're married in college. Nobody freaking cares if you're married at all. If somebody wants to approach you, or somebody, just by announcing that you're married, is not going to stop the opposite sex from trying to hit on you or trying to sleep with you. So like her idea of,
I don't think that's her point though. I think her point is stopping her husband from going after someone else. I think this is all the opposite.
it's going to happen. It's not going to happen anyway.
This is a trust thing with your partner. It's not about the other people. It's about you and your partner. Either you don't trust yourself or you don't trust your partner to have these kind of rules. That's my take on it.
So then in the case like that, then why are you going to suffer your whole life of being with him 24/7, making sure he's not talking to the opposite sex?
Right.
Make
The
sure
amount of energy and effort that goes into this system is absurd.
Why are you married to him?
Right.
So what insecurities do you have that you have to do this and make sure that your husband doesn't talk to anybody of the opposite sex? Like, so you breathe, sleep, and live just watching everything your husband does.
I guess so.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's multiple. When I was in college, there were friends of mine that were married. Both of them were at the same school.
Sure.
And there were never any issues.
Right.
My thing is, if somebody's going to cheat, they're going to cheat no matter what. No matter if they're, been with you for a day or they've been with you for 20 years, they're going to cheat. So there's nothing that you can do that's going to stop them from not cheating. They're just going to find a way to make it easy for them to do it without you knowing.
Right.
So like her thing about not having a professor that, okay, well, there's lecture hall classes to where you have like up to 3,000, not 3,000, up to like 200 to 300 people in a lecture hall.
Sure.
Not everybody in your husband's lecture hall is going to be male. So what are you going to do about that situation?
Well, she said that the people sitting next to each other would need to be the same sex. She didn't say everyone in the class.
So I'm sorry. Us men do not like to sit beside each other like that, like women do. Like we need our space.
Some men do.
Some men do, but I mean, like you and I don't mind.
If you and I go to the movie theater, we're going to sit a chair apart.
Yeah. Or, if it's a lecture hall class, we don't mind sitting next to each other because we know each other. But most men do not want to sit that close beside another man. So
I don't want to sit that close beside anyone. Just to be fair.
Yeah. But I don't know. What's her issue?
Yeah.
What is the backhand story to why this is?
I think it's insecurities. It's insecurity on her part or her husband's part, and it's they need to get their relationship right, not create rules that set them up for, a higher level of success.
Yeah.
Like, you shouldn't have to give yourself all these rules. You should just not cheat. Like, I don't quite understand what the problem is.
Yeah.
I don't know. This whole thing sort of baffled me, and I really do hope it's comical or farce in nature. If this is true,
I hope so too. And I'm very interested to see, to hear other people's reaction to this. Like, do they think that she's just completely insane, or
you know what? I'll do some research on TikTok and other social medias over the next week, and we'll come back next week with some responses that we find, and we'll see what we can find.
Because I do think that two married, dating, engaged college couples can have a successful relationship without having any insecurities if they're one and true with one another.
Right.
And so what if you have, a female sitting beside you and you're a male, right? Or if your professor is a female and, or whatever the case may be, so what?
Right.
That's life.
That's life. So
it is what it is. That's just life. And, we're going to, as a males, you and I as males, we're going to interact with females on a daily, You know, we have jobs. We go grocery shopping. We leave our house at some point in time. We call people on the phone, customer service. You know,
we can't sculpt all these interactions to fit rules.
Yeah. And it's the same thing as you know, for females.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to interact with the opposite sex no matter what. Like,
right.
If I order a package from Amazon and I haven't gotten it, and I pick up the phone and call customer service, I'm not guaranteed that every time I call.
What are you going to do? Are you male or female? Oh, I need to talk to a male.
Exactly. You know, it's just not possible.
Can you transfer me to a male colleague, please?
Or like, you know, I go through the drive-thru line to order food, and then the female, I was like,
oh, son of a bitch, I can't order my food. Just...
Can you put a male on the phone?
Yeah.
Like, you know, so it's, you know, I would very much hope that this is just comical. But you know what? In us hoping that this is comical, just imagine there are couples out there.
There are. You know, every time you
this.
see something like this, you have to understand that even if this one is comical, we might think it's funny, someone out there is doing it.
Exactly.
But I think you're right. You know, bottom line here, this is absolutely ridiculous. You got to deal with real life.
And if you are one of our listeners, and this is your life, and you do.
Oh my God, I would be so fascinated to hear from you.
Exactly. Definitely reach out to us. And, you know, if it's really interesting and your storyline behind why you do something like this we would love to have you on to address your point of why you do.
We want to hear from your perspective.
Exactly.
If you're out there, let us know.
Definitely. Because I want to understand where you're coming from and why you do the things that you do and why this is something that you think is completely acceptable.
All right. I think we'll wrap it up for today. Anything coming up for you this week, or this weekend?
Nothing I can think of right now.
Yeah.
I was thinking about maybe our side gig, but
got to check on that after we wrap up here and see if we have work to do tomorrow.
Yeah, but if nothing, then just I guess relaxing, rejuvenating.
That's my plan too.
And just looking forward to hitting a new week and moving on from there.
That's right. It's going to be October already.
October.
Last week of September, next week, rolling right into October. Seems crazy, but I'm with you there. Nothing really planned this weekend. We're just going to do a lot of relaxing, a lot of hanging around, a lot of TV watching, maybe go shoot around a golf, but that's about it.
Sounds good. I always look forward to a weekend of just relaxation, rejuvenating, and just doing whatever feels good at the moment and at the time. Not have anything planned, not have anything on the schedule, and just go with the flow.
That's right. Just go with the flow and hang out and relax.
I want to reiterate, as we get ready to close out, anything that you have heard, we're, especially with mental health, just understand that it's from our point of view. It's nothing derogatory, nothing that we're trying to put anybody else down.
Never.
So everybody, if you have any other questions or concerns, please reach out to us and send us an email at lifewithdanandlewis@gmail.com.
Yeah.
And if you're offended, we do sincerely and deeply apologize.
Yeah, our goal is not to offend at all. Our goal is to share our opinion and spark some conversation. If you have a different point of view, we'd be more than happy to hear your point of view and get it out here on the air, because I'm sure if you have it, other people do as well.
Definitely. We want to spread love and peace, not hate and anything negative.
That's right. Remember to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Life with Dan and Lewis. It's all the social medias, Life with Dan and Lewis.
That's right.
Thanks for listening today. More episodes can be found anywhere podcasts are found or on our website at lwdl.buzzsprout.com.
That's lwdl.buzzsprout.com.
Until next time, ask yourself, what have you done today to help someone else? Make good choices.
And love one another.